Welcome to Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. Hong Kong human rights at lowest point since 1997, says Amnesty report. India's NHRC only asked for compensation in rape and assault by police officers. President Duterte says he will consider martial law in Philippines. Thai activists cannot meet educational needs in prison. Government to select new human rights commissioners in Indonesia. Urgent appeals from Pakistan. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I'm April Wong. This week's episode of Just Asia begins with Hong Kong, which, according to Amnesty International's annual report, is seeing human rights at its lowest point since 1997. Authorities have failed on many fronts to protect the city's rights and freedoms, the report said. The report doubted whether the safety of Hong Kong people is sufficiently guaranteed, citing a lack of official engagement with the disappearances of 5 Hong Kong booksellers detained by Chinese police for selling controversial political books to in mainland China. The report came after 2 young lawmakers, Nathan Law and Joshua Wong, were attacked during and on their return from a trip to Taiwan. Law, now Hong Kong's youngest lawmaker, said he was jostled on Sunday night by protesters at the city's international airport on his return from a speaking tour to visit pro-democracy activists in Taiwan. 2 people were arrested after anti-independence protesters threw liquid in his face and tried to attack Law. I don't think that I, as an elected representative, should be subjected to physical attacks, Law said. They couldn't even guarantee the safety of a lawmaker. The Amnesty report urged the Hong Kong government and civil servants to make defending the rights of Hong Kong people their first priority. Amnesty also cited an interpretation by Beijing of Hong Kong's constitution last October as calling into question Beijing's promises that the city would maintain a high degree of autonomy. In India, after the National Human Rights Commission found evidence of Chhattisgarh police having raped and assaulted at least 16 women, the human rights body merely served a notice to the state government asking why the women should not be given compensation. The NHRC has not sought suspension of the accused police or the establishment of an independent body to investigate the matter. With the same police whose personnel are accused of committing the crimes investigating the cases, it is highly unlikely that the victims will get any justice. Financial compensation may be the only light for these women. Apart from this dysfunctional Indian justice system, even bodies such as the National Human Rights Commission are unable to offer much to victims of violations. Moving to the Philippines, President Duterte has said he would consider martial law if needed to prevent the country from becoming a narco-state. Although over 6,000 persons have been killed in the president drugs war, there are no signs of the violence abating. Martial law would allow the military to detain persons at length. According to the Philippines Constitution, a president can declare martial law for only 60 days, only to stop an invasion or a rebellion. Parliament can revoke the measure within 48 hours, while the Supreme Court can review its legality. Mr. Duterte, however, said the 60-day limit would be gone. If I have to declare martial law, I will declare it, he said. I will declare martial law to preserve my nation. Martial law was last imposed in the Philippines in 1972 under Ferdinand Marcos and lifted in 1981. President Duterte had earlier remarked, however, that martial law was nonsense and had not improved people's lives in the past. In Thailand, student activist Chhattisgarh Pattaraksa, popularly known as Pai, is unable to meet his educational needs while in prison on last major charges. After the Supreme Court dismissed Pai's motion for bail revocation, the court further ordered Pai to remain in custody for a 4th term of 9th to 20th January 2017, and denied him bail, ruling that there is no reason to change the order of the Court of Appeal, Region 4, motion dismissed. However, Pai has to sit for a mandatory exam to complete his bachelor's degree on 17 to 18 January. As the Khon Kaen Central Prison refused to allow Pai to sit the exam outside the prison without a court order, on January 16, Pai's lawyer asked the court to allow Mr. Duterte to take a mandatory exam at the Khon Kaen University. The court dismissed the motion, stating that the court had not granted bail for the alleged defender. Therefore, he should discuss with the Khon Kaen Central Prison rather than submit the motion to the court. In Indonesia, new commissioners for the National Commission on Human Rights will be selected this year by the government for the 5-year period of 2017 to 2022. Prior to selecting new commissioners, though, rights groups urged the government to address various problems affecting the performance of the human rights body, which has been very poor in the last 10 years. 3 main factors weakening Communist HAM's performance are the lack of political support, inadequate human resources, and bureaucratic culture. Regarding the lack of political support, the government gives no orders to perpetrators of violations, including military and police officials, to obey any summons or investigation process from Communist HAM. As for human resources, most of the commissioners are former government officials or retired police or army officials. This circumstance greatly affects their performance. Civil society urges the government to address these problems before selecting new commissioners, to ensure that the National Commission on Human Rights is an effective body able to protect human rights. Finally, the Urgent Appeals Weekly features 2 cases from Pakistan of missing bloggers and rights defenders. In the first week of January, information was received regarding the enforced disappearance of 4 human rights defenders from different cities. They were 2 bloggers, a writer, and a professor. All 4 were proactive on social media against state atrocities on the issues of disappearances and human rights violations in Balochistan. In the second case, a few days later, information was received regarding the disappearance of 2 more persons, a lawyer from Sindh province and a blogger from Islamabad. That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on this and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.alrc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.